Hello, 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 and welcome back to Myth Keepers. We are your hosts. I am Zach, and joining me as always, he's been rubbing his hand on certain parts of his body to make me come faster. It is Scotty Westside.
I don't think that's exactly how that would. No, wait, it is. Yeah.
No, he does say that.
To
he
come
said,
faster. Yeah.
Do that and maybe it'll make me come faster.
Yeah. He's graduated. Our boy Rhys has graduated from like slyly flirting to just like straight up, just like.
And I am here for it.
Of course you are.
I mean, are you not?
I don't know. I'm kind of getting. Well, I guess we're jumping in right away. I'm kind of getting annoyed with Rhys a little bit lately.
Okay, well, we're not going to have any of that slander.
We won't have any Rhys slander on this podcast. I probably shouldn't. That's. I feel like that's the community, or at least our community's golden child, the golden boy.
I feel like people really like Cassian a lot, though, too. And you also don't love Cassian.
Yeah, don't love Cassian, and I like him even less because I think you were right. What we discussed last week. I think
dude.
You're right, and
I'm so right.
I fucking hate it. I hate.
I'm so right.
Everything here. I'm so upset about it.
All right, what's your overall take on these chapters? They're quick. They're very quick section.
I don't know. I feel like we need to just kind of jump in and talk because I don't know what my overall feeling is.
Okay.
I feel like
this felt like a solid middle of the book, like interaction.
Yes.
Batch. Like that's.
I feel like I wanted more from Nesta and Elain than what we got. I feel like they left very quickly.
Yeah.
And always I just need more Morgan. And
sure.
I also need more Amryn because she has a very quick part near the end, but we'll get to her. She fucking rules.
Yes.
But yeah, before we jump in, Zachary, I want to give a special shout out to our patrons. We love them. We thank them so much. And we have a new one. Welcome, Sydney. Thank you for joining the Patreon. We also have Nico, Dom, Jordan, Nathan, Jen, Allie, Chaz, Jenna, Terrence, Andrea, Emma, Kristen, Sarah, and Hannah. Thank you so much for supporting us. We love you so much. But thank you, everyone who just listens and comments and chats with us in the Discord, because we appreciate all of you supporting us in any way that you can.
And if you want to join the Patreon and you would like to support the podcast, you'll get access to some exclusive content. Scotty and I are slowly but surely making our way through watching the Fantastic Beasts movies and laughing at how ridiculously bad they are together.
Very slowly.
So we've done one of those so far. And also we talk for, 15 to 30 minutes before each episode. We play some games. We talk about what movies, books, and other things we're getting into. Today we did a little bit of trivia, Harry Potter trivia, where it was stated and found out that Scotty Westside is the number one Harry Potter fan in the entire world, and nobody could possibly beat him in trivia ever.
90% versus 6%, baby.
Yeah, what a guy. So if you guys want to be a part of that, you guys can do that at patreon.com/mythkeepers. We would appreciate it. But if you can't, that's also okay. We appreciate you guys listening and watching either way.
Hell yeah.
Let's talk about this batch chapter.
Well, yeah, this is chapters 23 through 28. Where we last left off, they were going to the human lands. Azriel was flying with Feyre.
They're going to go hang out with them knuckle draggers.
Those pitiful humans.
With their shitty food.
Yes, we'll get to that. So it's apparently been a year since she killed I can't remember the guy's name, the other fairy, Tamlin's guy.
I don't recall his name.
I don't recall his name either. But it's been a year apparently since that happened, since kind of the books were kicked off. She has a line here about how she has her hood up to cover her ears and her crown. I was like, I understand her ears are different, but does she have like some kind of what crown is she wearing? Or is it like part of her head? What are we talking about here?
I was confused about this.
Is this her emissary to the human
maybe
lands
fairies
crown.
have like long like xenomorph heads, like the crown of their head is just bulbous.
Well, I don't think a hood would be able to hide a xenomorph head, but yeah, I don't know if this is just like, I guess I haven't seen any pictures of, or I feel like there hasn't been like a really good description of her since she became a fairy.
Maybe Rhysand just like dresses her in a crown every day?
Maybe he does. Or is this like her emissary to the human
toddlers and tiaras?
Toddlers and tiaras. Yeah, that's definitely Feyre.
Yeah, dude, he's putting her in pageants and stuff.
Okay,
bro.
who the fuck is this Mrs. Laurent, and who does she think she is? What the hell is this about?
What a cunt.
Mrs. Laurent just comes out of nowhere and is like, just kind of a giant bitch, if I'm being honest. It's
okay,
just
Mrs. Laurent is obviously a spy and is obviously who tipped off the Ador.
You think so?
Yes.
You're probably right. Because Mrs. Laurent apparently immediately recognizes that she's a fairy. So
Andress, by the way.
Great disguise. Andress, that's right. Great disguise, Feyre. And then it says there's a line here, the woman merely gave me a look that promised death if I harmed my sisters, as she turned into the house, leaving me before Elain, still quietly crying. Who is this person that is like, I'm a kill you, fairy, if you harm your sisters? What the fuck is this about? I was so annoyed by this just right off the bat. I'm like, who the hell do you think you are, Mrs. Laurent?
Yeah. Like, bitch, do you not realize you're in the presence of the High Lord of the Night Court?
Well,
okay?
She's not. Yeah, he's still hiding.
Well, yeah,
but this is their
come
like,
correct.
Despite the fact that Feyre is now a fairy, she is their sister. Like, yeah. What does Mrs. Laurent think she's gonna do? It's weird. I don't know. Bad vibes from Mrs. Laurent. You might be right about the spy thing. Their father is not home, by the way. He is in Neva, which is one of the largest cities on the continent. This confused me because I thought we established last episode or a couple episodes ago that there weren't cities anymore. Or was that only a Fairylands thing?
Maybe.
Because wasn't Feyre really surprised about Valeris because she was like, there's cities don't exist anymore?
Yeah.
Am I tripping?
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
I was confused. But yeah, her father is in Neva, one of the largest cities, and I'm like, I thought the whole thing was that there weren't big cities anymore. Anyway, I don't know what that's about.
He's trading with some merchants, from the other half of the world.
Yeah, true. Maybe I'm starting to realize more and more, Zach, that this is maybe the worst way to read a book of all time. Is like,
why?
4 or 5 chapters every 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I don't remember fucking shit. Maybe we should actually, I don't know, record more often or something.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
I'm sorry, go ahead. You were saying?
Yeah, so he's trading with these merchants from halfway across the world, and he's also attending a summit about the threat at the wall.
Oh, yeah.
And Nesta says, a threat I wonder if you came back to warn us about.
Mm-hmm. Nesta very suspicious right out of the gate.
Yeah, and Elain is just like happy to be there. She's like, oh, that's my fucking sissy right there.
Elaine's such a sweetheart, man.
She is such a sweetheart. I love her.
I do love Elain too.
I also really like Nesta in this.
Of course. Obviously.
But
that goes without saying.
You're a bitch because I really liked Cassian in this as well.
Fuck Cassian.
Dude.
Fuck old cashew milk.
No, dude.
We'll get to his bitch ass.
That's my boy.
No, Elain is such a sweetheart. I think she's definitely getting more development. I always viewed her before as just kind of a bit ditzy, a bit kind of just out of it, but, kind of sweet and innocent. And that's still what she is, but I feel like she's becoming a little bit, either she's just getting more development or she's becoming a little bit wiser to kind of the ways of the world and how things are.
I mean, Feyre does comment on how they both look older.
Mm-hmm.
Nesta especially, but like they both have actually aged slightly. Like, and she even comments about like maybe it's just the wisdom, maybe it's just like at physical age, but like there's something different. Which is cool. Yeah, I mean, I think I think I will be very disappointed if we don't get more Nesta and Elain and their development, because I do care about them quite a bit. I think even though we don't get to see them very often for like the happenings of everything that we've had so far, I really care about their development.
Yes.
I want it to be good.
I definitely agree. I do hope we get more of them because they are some of the characters that I care about the most in this story. So I hope they continue to have a more substantial role. Yeah. Nesta is ready to throw hands as she does with Feyre if she threatens Elain at all. I always love this. This is like, I feel like Nesta's defining character trait from the beginning is that she will protect Elain at all costs.
Truly. She steps between. So after Feyre tells them her story and like all the shit that she's gone through and her position and where she's at now, what she needs, and like shows herself to them, Nesta's first response is to take a slight step in front of Elain and put herself between Feyre and Elain.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like
it is great.
It's knee-jerk to be like, Nesta, stop being a bitch. This is your sister. But also, like, I do love this, like, very protective characteristic of hers. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, no. Love it. It's one of the first things I remember, like, positive things we said about Nesta back in the first book is that when Tamlin first came to get Feyre, like, Nesta was, like, willing to put her life on the line to protect Elain, and that has not changed. We find out that Elain is engaged. In 5 months, she's marrying a lord's son, and his father, not the biggest fan of fairies. He has devoted his life to hunting down your kind when they cross the wall. And Nesta is like, so yeah, no meeting here. There'll be no Fae in this house. And immediately Feyre is like, well, do you include me in that declaration? And silence. Yeah, Nesta says nothing, which Feyre takes as an answer enough. But Elain, such a sweetheart. She pleads
on behalf of Feyre.
If we do not help Feyre, there won't be a wedding. Even Lord Nolan, great name. I just now realized that. Even Lord Nolan's battlements and all his men couldn't save me from them.
She also says Feyre gave for years. Let us now help her, help others.
True.
And I love this. They are two very different characters, but like they occupy this, like, I don't know, like I love that this is the contrast between Nesta and Elain.
Yes. And I feel like this is truly great character development for Elain, because I feel like before she never really acknowledged everything that Feyre did for them. Like maybe she did and we just didn't hear about it or see it. But it seemed like, she was very oblivious before to everything that Feyre was doing to keep them alive when they were like, poor and starving.
Right.
But now Elain, like you said, says here, Feyre gave for years. Let us now help her. Like,
right.
Elain recognizing that and appreciating it is very good development for her. So yeah, great stuff from Elain.
Nesta kind of probes Feyre about like what's happened, and it comes down to she basically questions her and is like, and now you're at a new court.
And
Feyre is like, well, would you like to meet them?
Yeah.
And my notes say, would you like to meet this hot ass guy Cassian that you're totally gonna bone?
I fucking hate you so much. You said that before all the stuff they went through.
Oh yes, I did. Yeah, absolutely.
I hate it.
I called this last episode.
You did. Well, yeah.
Like there's no. I mean, mind you, it hasn't happened yet, and I could be wrong.
But there's a lot of groundwork built up.
Oh my god, dude, they're totally gonna bone.
So
and she's gonna love it.
A little bit here about, of course you are. I fucking can't stand you. Elain's fiance, Grayson, she says is kind enough. As smitten with Elain as she is with him, it's the father that's kind of the problem. That Nesta doesn't like. He sees the money she has to offer their estate and his crusade against the Fae. But the man is old. He'll die soon enough, hopefully. So The guy that Elain is engaged to seems all right. Nesta is like, okay, he's not bad. But the father, Nolan, seems like kind of a bastard. And yeah, I do love it. You mentioned this briefly, the shade that Nesta throws at Feyre a little bit. She's like, "Your High Lord, you went through all that and it still did not end well."
Yeah.
That's so good. I love Nesta is like, so you like died and became a fairy and went through all these trials and all this bullshit for Tamlin. But where is he now? You're not with him. What's up with that? What's going on? That's great stuff. I love that.
Yeah, big fan.
Honestly, legitimate questions from Nesta. It's like,
truly,
you left the safety of your home here, and went under the mountain, did all this bullshit, and now you're not even with this dude. Like, what the fuck are you? What is happening?
Something I wanted to say at the top of the episode, I appreciated how much Tamlin came up in this batch. Like, not, I mean, obviously we both know like I don't like Tamlin, but I'm glad that like he's being addressed.
Yes.
In a way that's like, hey, Tamlin is still like around,
right?
And like needs to be considered.
Exists, yes.
He still exists and needs to be considered. Yeah. So there's a couple things that are said later in this batch that I was like, I'm glad that I feel like it would just be easy, and it maybe has happened a little bit to like be so focused on the new
Tamlin
stuff
and move on.
Yes. Yeah. And like that's a big thing that cannot be forgotten.
I mean, that has happened, I feel like, to an extent, but no, yeah, he's brought back around here and is still gonna, I feel like, be an important player for sure. Because
like the only time his name has come up has been like in Feyre addressing her feelings and like her mental state, but not in a way that's like, we need to consider him for like current events.
Yeah.
And so this batch changed that, I feel like, and is good.
To continue with this conversation that Nesta and Feyre are having here, Feyre tells Nesta, that Lord built a wall to keep the Fae out. My High Lord wanted to keep me caged in. Feyre kind of, again, we've seen this a little bit in the past. She gives Tamlin a little bit of an out. She says, to save me, to protect me, I think what happened to him under the mountain broke him, perhaps more than it had broken me. The drive to protect at all costs, even my own well-being, I think he wanted to stifle it, but he couldn't. He couldn't let go of it. But there was still so much I had to do, I realized, to settle things. And that's when Nesta's like, and now you are at a new court. And yes, then Feyre's like, would you like to meet them? And that's pretty much the end of chapter 23. Did you have anything else there?
No, that's it. I mean, I kind of already said this, but I like that Feyre acknowledges that Tamlin was broken from the events under the mountain also. Because, like, I think we talked about this before.
We have, yeah.
Like, Tamlin fucking sucks.
Yes.
But Homeboy is also dealing with traumas and like his own things. And yeah, it's cool. I saw this this is kind of it's related because I'm relating it now, but like it's not super related. But I saw this video the other day, is actually very emotional, about like, it was a therapist that was talking to an interviewer, and she said something that was like, all feelings are valid and accepted, but all actions are not, or like not all actions are. And it was just like a different context, obviously, but like still, I mean, applies here. Like Tamlin definitely going through shit, but he obviously did not go about it the right way.
Yeah, and we've talked about this as like, you know, it's not. It's good that Feyre is acknowledging that he is also broken, but it's. I feel like it's not just a whole out, you know, it's not like a whole absolving him of everything he's done.
Right.
Because like we talked about, he is not the only one that went through that shit and was broken. Feyre and Rhys also were under the mountain and went through some horrible, awful shit, but they are not acting nearly to the degree of shittiness that Tamlin is. Right. So, yeah, listen, it's a reason for the way he's acting, but it's not an excuse, I feel like. You know what I'm saying? For the things that he's
absolutely. Done. Definitely.
So chapter 24, Elain has gotten rid of everybody. Elain's the champ.
Yeah. Sends them all, says, hey, get the fuck out. We're having a party.
Especially you, Mrs. Lawrence. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. That's what Go tell the king of Highburn that my sister's here.
Yeah.
Go get the fuck out of here. She's totally a spy, bro.
I kind of hope you're right, because that would allow me to hate her more. Rhys is like, you'd think plague had befallen the house, because he's like impressed at the speed with which Elain got rid of everyone. And Feyre tells him, my sister Elain can convince anyone to do anything with a few smiles. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. You go, Elain.
So what she's saying is that she's going to be the catalyst in getting the queens to hand over the
probably
the book.
Probably. Elain is definitely stepping into a diplomatic role here for sure.
1,000%. Yeah, absolutely.
Between like Nesta and Feyre there a minute ago, and then at the dinner here. So yeah. Let's see what happens next.
So there is, well, I had another Tamlin note actually.
Oh yeah. I have this too.
I paraphrased super quickly, but if you have more, expand on it. But my note is that she thinks about how there was a part of Tamlin that was good. Mm-hmm. Only that once he got what he wanted, he neglected her basically.
Yeah.
And again, I'm glad that we're getting these little blurbs about Tamlin.
Yeah. Feyre says he'd let himself remain blind to what I needed after Amarantha. Which again, like we talked about it many times, is it's not healthy what they've been doing. They don't talk like at all. They only fuck. You know? And it's just like, that's not healthy, or like Feyre is saying here, what she needed after going into the mountain and the Amarantha stuff. So
yeah. Fucking's cool, man, but like take me back to that star lake again, you know, like that galaxy lake. Like be romantic with me a little bit again. Did you forget about all that?
Yeah, let those stars brush up against that taint. It feels good.
Dude, love me some stars in my taint.
Yeah, absolutely. This I found, I think you mentioned this earlier, comes up here. She mentions Feyre is thinking about Elain and Nesta, how they do look a little older, but they're still so beautiful, young, and alive. But then she thinks, when would that change? How would it be to speak to them when I remained this way while their skin had grown paper thin and wrinkled? I would be barely into my mortal existence when theirs was wiped out. But I could give them a few good years, safe years until then. This reminded me so much of Feyre. Like that's kind of like what the whole story is about, of
Dude.
You know, an immortal dealing with mortals, you know.
Okay, so
go ahead.
I'm so sorry, Scott.
No, you're fine.
Sidebar, because you brought up Feyre.
Okay.
Anybody listening or watching, if you haven't watched it, go fucking watch it.
Yeah, I mainly brought this up because I just want to give yet another plug. If you care about fantasy at all, it is literally a must-watch.
Yes, it's incredible.
It's the best fantasy anything in years.
Dom and Julio started watching Feyre.
Oh, hell yeah.
Dom texts me the other day and is like, fucking call me, dude. She's like, I'm crying watching these episodes.
Every single goddamn episode. Yeah.
It's so
without fail almost.
And I was just like, dude, even in episodes where nothing inherently sad happens, I am a mess, dude. Yes. I am an emotional mess. I can't deal with it. So good. So
100%.
Yeah. God, man, it's so fucking
So
great.
Yes, this reminded me of that because, like I said, that's kind of what the entire premise of Feyre is about. You should definitely go check that out. So all these fuckers come in. I can't help but, I know Morgan has her reasons, but I can't help but feel like she would have been very nice to have here.
Morgan would have been such a good,
just to
like element to this mix.
Yes. Well, just to like, I feel like having another like woman there would have helped put Elain and Nesta more at ease. You know what I'm saying?
I agree completely.
Like, again, I know Morgan has her reasons, but I kept feeling like Morgan should have been here. Like, I feel like that could have helped things so much. And also, I just need more Morgan in this story.
Yeah, of course.
Because, how does she describe them here? My sister stiffened at Cassian and Azriel, those mighty wings tucked into powerful bodies, at the weapons, and then at the devastatingly beautiful faces of all three males. And I'm like, Sarah J. Maas, at it again. They are devastatingly beautiful.
Devastating. Yeah, there's a moment later when Nesta and Cassian have their little spat, and like the last sentence of it is that her eyes linger on his torso.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that ass.
Yeah. It's so funny, dude.
Yeah. I do a lot of lingering looking at those torsos too. I ate.
Yeah.
I'm eating, you know.
Yep. Eating.
Go ahead.
So I have a note here, and I can't remember the context, so hopefully you can fill it in for me. If the humans are aware of the threat and rallying against it, it may help them with the queens. Is this when she's talking to Rhys, Azriel, and Cassian outside before she brings them inside? Like she's telling them what's going on.
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't think I have a note about that.
Okay.
Or maybe it's
and then
later.
Also, when she introduces them all, had we gotten Feyre's last name?
Yeah, surely. At some point.
Archuron?
Yeah.
Archurion? I'm not sure if I'm saying it right.
We had, right? Did
That's
we not?
a cool fucking name.
It's not bad.
Archuron?
I did love this little bit here when they first meet. Elain, to her credit, did not faint, and Nesta, to hers, did not hiss at them. So good.
Purring and hissing and growling and fucking barking.
Nesta literally hissing at them. That's literally a Purple Eyes bit where he's like, did she just hiss at me?
Yeah. Shouts out to Purple Eyes, man.
Also, again, when they walk in, what does Nesta do? She steps in front of Elain, makes a fist, and is just like, I will fuck you up if you make a wrong move. Nesta does not care. Nesta cannot be bothered, bro.
Yep. I have a... Cassian is trying to sit in a human chair and struggling with his wings, and my note is like, what the fuck kind of chairs, like what do high fae chairs look like? That like what is that?
They got wing accommodations.
Cutouts.
I don't know. Maybe there's like wing holes or...
Oh, you know what it is? Like the back of a police car, how it has the indents for like your... How you've never been in the back of a police car. You're white.
No. For the handcuffs behind the back.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing.
You didn't know that was a thing?
No, but it makes sense.
Yeah, maybe they have that for
they have
for wings.
Chair indents. Maybe they're just really short in the back, which sounds again like uncomfortable chairs. What was I giving shit about?
Good for posture.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, it was the House of the Dragon, the Dragonstone Council chairs. I said looked like torture devices. Yeah, they're those kind of chairs. Yeah, that was funny. I did take a note of that as well. Feyre is too snobby for this human food now. Yeah. And Nesta immediately notices and calls her on her shit. And for some reason, this makes Feyre tell her, she feels the need to tell her that she can fuck and fight just as good, if not better than before. And I'm like, what? Why was this quoted here? She just tells Nesta, I can eat, I can fight, I can fuck just as good before, if not better. And I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? And why was that necessary information to pass along to Nesta here?
You know, in scenes like this, it's always fun to picture, like, what if this wasn't like a fantasy world and this is just like your sister who you're like kind of estranged with?
Right.
Like being like, can you not picture this like at a family gathering? Like, oh, it's the sister that's never around who like only shows up for like every 3 years or something like that. And she like takes a bite of food and it's like, what? You don't fucking like my cooking? Like,
yeah, true. That part, sure.
Totally could see that.
That part, sure. But then her coming back with, I'll have you know, I am just as good at the sex as I have ever been.
I'll have you know, I still fuck.
I can still get it, okay?
Dude.
That's so bizarre. I have no idea what that
have
line
you
was.
Have you seen this crown?
Feyre.
I fuck.
Have you seen
it's so weird.
This crowd? I absolutely fuck. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Then Rhys says something about how good their food is and you should try it sometime. And Nesta hits him with I have little interest in ever setting foot in your land, so I'll have to take your word for it, which is just so condescending. I love it so much. Get owned, buddy.
Yep.
Fucking Rhys.
And then my boy Cassian
comes
in and I'm like, hey, that's my boy. Why don't you like him here?
He's... Okay, well, let's talk about it and then I'll give my feelings.
You're such a fuckboy because...
I didn't say anything!
No, I already... Like, you're just a fuckboy because this...
If anyone, Cassian is the fuckboy here.
Cassian is a fuckboy,
yeah.
But if this argument was said by anybody else, you would have liked it.
Maybe, maybe not.
What are you looking at? Someone who let her younger sister risk her life every day in the woods while she did nothing. Mm-hmm. Someone who let a 14-year-old child go out into that forest so close to the wall. Your sister died to save my people, and she's willing to do it again to protect you from war. So don't expect me to sit here with my mouth shut while you sneer at her for a choice that she didn't get to make and insult my people in the process. That's a banger, and I fuck with that.
Nesta not impressed, by the way.
Nesta
Neither am
didn't
I.
bat an eyelash as she studied the handsome features and the muscled torso.
Fucking hell.
It's so fucking funny.
The cream.
Cassian's face.
Pure vanilla.
Cassian's face almost went feral.
Yeah, she turned to Feyre, dismissing him entirely. I feel the exact same way. You don't impress me, Cassian, with your little speech here. This does nothing for me. Who are you? Okay. This just isn't his place to be saying these things. Cassian's known her for like an hour.
And she's been a bitch to them.
No. Cassian has known Feyre for like an hour.
Oh, that's not true.
They have not spent a lot of time
It's
together.
been months.
It's been months since Cassian and Feyre have known each other? No.
Okay,
no.
maybe
it's been
weeks.
Days at most.
Nah.
But they've had very little interaction.
Yeah, but he loves Rhys and Rhys loves her, so...
Yeah, that's... Okay, if Rhys had said these things, it would have made a lot more sense.
Well, see, but that Rhys wouldn't do that, not to Nesta.
Exactly. Because he has intelligence and knows that they need something from Nesta here, so don't maybe be a little fuckhead about it when you don't know, you barely know either party involved.
Why? Okay, you have such a problem when people act out it with an emotional response just because it's not pragmatic. That's not his character. He's not a pragmatic character. He's a hothead. Like they say that all the time.
Yeah. I don't like that.
And you don't like that. You also don't like the words that he said.
The words are fine, but again, this isn't your place, my guy. Like, you barely know Feyre. You don't know Nesta at all. Also, you need things from Nesta.
So
and
here's
here
the
you
thing,
are
like,
starting a fight.
Here's the well, yeah, but except he's really just talking her own language back to her. That's what's happening. So, not that he's that smart to make that conscious choice.
No, he's definitely not.
But that is what's happening.
Elain just dismisses him entirely, though. So, mission failed, my guy.
Cassian does not have to know Feyre to know of her sacrifice and love and respect that about her.
Okay, fair.
So,
but I still just feel like this isn't his place to be telling Nesta these things. I still just feel like he
said some good shit and is like, yo, we're here to help. Fucking chill out. Stop being a bitch to your sister who's literally here to try and save your life.
I also have to say, I feel like a lot of this is so very disingenuous. Your sister died to save my people. Did she, though? She died to save Tamlin.
No, I mean, she made the choice that she didn't want Amarantha to, like she was worried about everybody.
Who was she really worried about, though? She's worried about Tamlin, and her ass is not even with him anymore.
Oh
so God. Now, retroactively, it's like, no, I did that for all the Fae people. That Tamlin was barely. Hey,
I do the same thing, man. Give me that credit.
Yeah, give me that credit. Retroactively, credit. Actually, it turns out Tamlin actually sucks. So I definitely did that for all the fairies. Yeah. No, definitely. And that's what Cash. I feel it's just like a little bit of revisionist history from Cassian here. Just.
I don't care. You have already made up your mind that you don't like Cassian,
also,
so you're just not into it.
I mean, true. So don't expect me to sit here with my mouth shut while you sneer at her for a choice she did not get to make. I don't get that vibe that Nesta is... What choice is he talking about? Nesta is just suspicious. I don't think that she's
Feyre didn't get to choose that she came back as a high fae.
Okay, fair enough.
And Nesta's giving, she's... doesn't want to interact with Feyre because she's a fae, and he's like, this wasn't her choice.
Well, yeah, she's scared of and suspicious of the fairies, which, I mean,
but
genuine
also,
reason.
It's your sister.
True, but also your sister is being a bitch about your food.
And she literally spent her childhood trying to provide for you, and she's back now to try and protect you.
Okay, all that is fair. Spent the childhood, and obviously Feyre and Nesta have a lot of issues as far as that whole element goes between each other, of Nesta being ungrateful and all that when Feyre was doing her best and all that stuff. But again, this just isn't your place, my dude. That's not your problem to hash out. You don't know either of these people. And you're just inserting yourself into the midst of this.
Hell yeah. He can insert himself.
I'm not. No. Don't care for it. Don't love Cassian.
That's look, I understand. Okay, let me start by saying I do understand where you're coming from.
Okay.
I think that if you operate under the pretense of you can't correct people's shitty behavior because you don't know them,
mm-hmm.
then
that's not that though. That's not what I'm saying.
That's what you're fucking saying.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, let me use an example. Let's say you have a new coworker at work that you've known for maybe a couple weeks. You've chatted, you know each other a little bit. You go to a family reunion, and families are the way they are sometimes. You start getting into a beef with your sibling at your family reunion. And this coworker that you know a little bit comes in and starts getting in on your beef with your sister. Or your sibling? Would you be okay with that? Would you be cool with that? Would you be like, yeah, no, you're right. You're spitting facts. You're spitting truth. This is definitely your place to be doing this. That's exactly what's happening.
The context is so different,
it's not,
though, dude.
It's not.
Because the stakes are higher.
He's not talking about the stakes, though. His biggest thing is, no,
he literally is, though.
I mean, he mentions that she's doing it here to save them. But his main thing is you weren't appreciative of her.
No,
as a child.
I think he's trying. What he's trying to communicate is that, dude, all she's done is try and help and provide, and she's back now to do the same thing, and you're being a fucking asshole about it. That's what he's trying to say.
I don't even think that Nesta was not that big of an asshole to Feyre, though. She's suspicious and wary, yes, but she lets them in.
She didn't want her in her house, dude.
She didn't, no, but here they are. They're in there. They're eating.
Because Elain fucking willed it, dude. Not because Nesta is...
Yes, but I mean, Nesta, we know how strong-willed Nesta is. It wouldn't be like she would just fold to whatever Elain said.
Look, I think that this is all very good for Nesta's character. I like that she is like this, but I also like that somebody is checking her in that way because nobody challenges Nesta. I don't
okay,
give a fuck that it's Cassian.
I see where you're coming from.
I like Cassian, but like I think that Nesta's character needs that from another character, and in this context, it happens to be Cassian. He's the one that matches her freak.
The best,
you know.
The best part of this is that this doesn't like anger her or get her riled up at all. She just ignores him, and that is what you do to someone who is out of their place, being a angry little children. Oh, you're mean to Feyre. You shouldn't do that. Just ignore it. She's so much better and above this, and that's the best part of this.
Except for the fact that that it's totally going to work on her, and she's going to fall for this guy. So she's not actually. So you can fuck off.
I will.
She's going to, man. Dude,
God,
like,
please no.
Just let it happen. See the writing on the wall,
and let it happen. I don't
just bite the pillow and let it.
Jack it to cat. No.
All right, we've talked about this for half an hour. Let's move on.
Long. Jesus Christ. Azriel and Elain are the only decent people here, by the way.
Yeah, truly.
Trying to make peace.
Really is great.
Yes, thank you. You, the fucking number one Azriel hater. Well, I have been the number one Azriel defender. Fucking, you're just so obsessed with Rhys and Cassian.
You've been the number one dung defender.
True. I can't. Fuck you, Zach. I can't not think about the Nesta and Cassian falling in love. I was thinking about that a lot. Dude,
they are. I hate you so much. Going to fall in love, and I think it's going to be ugly because they're both so strong, like high tempered and like.
It's going to be ugly. Why did you say it like that?
Like it's gonna be a mess.
Yeah, it won't
but
be.
Then they're gonna fall in love and. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Classic tropes.
Elain tries to explain that. Listen, dude, we were scared, and we didn't know how or what to do. Anything. Can we just chill out and please let's start over?
Yes. Elain says we failed her, both of us, and Nesta does not disagree. Elain,
and
great peacemaker.
I love that. Yes, I love that. And Cassian watches Nesta closely.
Had to throw that in there, didn't you?
Yep, I sure did. Only the high Fae. Oh, okay. I love this. So Nesta questions the batboys.
The batboys?
Yeah, Cassian and Azriel.
You're calling them batboys?
That's what the fandom calls them.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, because they
have wings. No, I get it. The Batboys.
Do you want me to explain that to you?
I think I understand. Is it because they get the bats and the balls when baseball players are playing?
They do get the bats and the balls.
Fucking.
So she asked them, like, are you guys high fae? Basically, like that. This conversation comes up, and Cassian says only the high fae who look like them, and points at Rhys and Feyre are high fae.
Right.
Everyone else are called lesser fairies.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
I heard they were all devastatingly beautiful, though.
Yeah. I do like that. I don't have the exact quote. If you have it, you can read it. But I really do like that Rhys acknowledges that like this is because of a history of injustices.
Yeah.
Like the prejudice and or the segregation between the different races. And I like that. I like that he acknowledges it and is like, it's not a big deal to me.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. I think you summed that up pretty well. Nesta agrees. She tells them to write your letter to the queens tonight. Elain and I will go to the village to dispatch it tomorrow. If the queens, this is good because she's basically telling Cassian, you ain't seen nothing, bitch. I'm actually extremely accommodating. I'd suggest bracing yourselves for prejudices far deeper than ours and contemplating how you plan to get us all out of this mess should things go sour. Again, I feel like Nesta is being more than fair considering the circumstances. And yeah. Cassian's just an asshole. Casshole. He's a real casshole.
He is a casshole. I'm trying to see his castle.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that ass.
Look at that castle.
Yeah.
So you did skip one thing I wanted to call out.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. So the whole like high fae thing, Nesta, I'm paraphrasing here. Nesta looks at Feyre and is like, okay, so then what do they call you?
Oh,
like,
right.
Like you weren't a fae and now you are. And I love, this is my boy. I love Rhysand cuts in. Feyre is whoever she chooses to be.
I remember not taking a note about this specifically because I'm like, Zach will definitely have that.
Yeah, and I love this man. He's such a badass. Yeah. So it's Rhysand also says it's been a few centuries since someone got under Cassian's skin that easily. And then my note is, haha, they're totally gonna fall for each other.
Yeah, before that, Rhys is a real dick about the sleeping arrangements for some reason.
Yeah, this was weird.
And Feyre calls him old and cranky, which that was kind of funny. I was like,
weird.
Why is he being such a fucking weirdo about the rooms?
This felt to me like sometimes in like books that have magic, like
it's just like a way to show off magic.
Yeah, like occasionally you get this like weird, unneeded, unnecessary like explanation of magic, and like I'm gonna show you I can summon a bed. It just seems strange. Like Rhys was being so particular, and like poor Elain is just trying to be helpful and be like, there are no beds with rooms with two beds next to each other. I'm sorry. I fucking love Elain, and that was just a weird thing. So yeah. You're right. Rhys talks. I have here about Rhys talks about it's been a few centuries since someone got under Cassian's skin that easily. Too bad they're both inclined to kill the other. And Feyre puts her money on Nesta.
Part of me shuddered at the havoc the two would wreak if they decided to stop fighting. And I'm like, fuck you, Sarah J. Maas. Fuck you, and fuck Zach specifically.
I am here for it, dude.
I hate it.
No, you need to stop being a little bitch.
And then Rhys inserting himself into Elain's relationship also. Elain should not be marrying that lord's son, not for about a dozen reasons, the least of which being the fact that you will be invited to the wedding. That's a very dumb reason. Who gives a shit? At least you won't have to send a gift either. I doubt her father-in-law would give Dane to accept it. And I appreciate this from Feyre. Feyre calls him on this bullshit. She says, you have a lot of nerve mocking my sisters when your own friends have equally as much melodrama.
Yes.
And I'm like, yes, let's get into this. Hell yeah, Feyre. He's like, I don't know what you're referring to. What could you possibly mean? I don't know. And Feyre's just like, oh, so you haven't noticed the way Azriel looks at Mor, or how she sometimes watches him, defends him, and how both of them do such a good job letting Cassian be a buffer between them most of the time. Why do these ancient Fae act like high schoolers, by the way? Like, just like...
Because that's what the audience wants, Scott.
I guess. That just seems weird.
It's not that deep, brother.
So... Yes, it is. I want it to be deeper. Feyre is implying that Mor
in your castle.
I want it deeper in my castle. Feyre is implying that she thinks Mor does care for Azriel as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Because
obviously
we already knew Azriel definitely has a crush on Morrigan, but it was unclear. I feel like to this point whether she just viewed him as a friend or
right. I think it's reciprocated in some way. I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like she's bringing it up because it is maybe a little messy.
Yeah, well, that's what she says. She calls it like your own melodrama, you and your friends.
So, I mean, it's probably not as simple as like, are they into each other? Like they probably have like some weird history or like some shit. Like
they probably do, because Rhys says I'd suggest keeping those observations to yourself. And it's like, okay, bitch. Like, well, I can't gossip and girl talk with Morrigan about, hey, do you like Azriel? Azriel likes you, I think.
I bet she will.
I hope she does.
I would love that
Fuck
conversation.
Fuck Rhys keeping those
whoa,
observations
how
to yourself.
Did we get to fuck Rhys from that?
He says you should keep those observations to yourself. And I'm like, no, Feyre should talk with this about Morgan, I think. Definitely.
I think so too, but that doesn't have to mean fuck Rhys.
He says, I'd suggest keeping those observations to yourself. Fuck
He
him.
can
No,
be
I want
wrong.
these two to talk about this. I want Feyre to insert.
This is a no Rhys slander podcast.
Not when I'm
cunt.
around, baby. Absolutely not.
I'm
when
looking
I'm
into
around.
the camera for this, by the way. Oh my god.
Not when I'm around. I'm gonna kill this Rhys bitch.
Oh my god, I hate you. All right, move on.
I am. Hold on. I'm lost.
She gets into bed and she's like, "Thanks for warming the bed for me."
Oh yeah, that was sweet.
And he like just it's okay. I'm sorry. I know I'm saying I'm no Rhys slender, but it's
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here we go.
I mean,
yes.
it's
Yes.
not slander.
Do it.
It's
Do
not
it.
slander.
Do it. Do it.
It's not slander. It's just it's funny, like this, not the spat, but just like the passion between their argument or like whatever they're talking about. And then she's like, "Thanks for warming the bed," and he's like, "Amarantha never thanked me."
Yes. Exactly. It came out of nowhere, bro.
It did come out of
It came out of absolute nowhere.
Like it's sad, and like I do feel for that, but it was funny. It was funny timing for me. And then
Then they have this whole conversation about Nesta and Elain. Do you have this?
No, I have my next note is the wage that he's paying her.
Oh yeah. I think that's right after this.
Okay, cool. You go.
Rhys says, your sisters mean well, or one of them does, but seeing them at that table, I hadn't realized it would hit me as strongly how young you were, how they didn't protect you. And Feyre is like, I managed just fine. And Rhys says, we owe them our gratitude for letting us use this house, but it will be a long while yet before I can look at your sisters without wanting to roar at them. Hold on, I'll get back to this. Feyre says, a part of me feels the same way, but if I hadn't gone into those woods, if they hadn't let me go out there alone, you would still be enslaved, and perhaps Amarantha would now be readying her forces to wipe out these lands. Again, I just can't help but feel like Rhys a little bit has at least a little bit more of a leg to stand on.
Sure.
But even still, he kind of has a lot of nerve for judging her sisters in this way.
Okay, listen, I had a feeling you were going to say this, and I meant to make a comment about this during the dinner, but like Rhysand like knows when Feyre's getting worked up, like, right? Like, because there's that moment during the bond like starts to try and like soothe her, like, hey, calm down, you know.
Quit telling your sister how well you can fuck.
Yeah. Don't say that in front of me, at least, because now I'm fucking feral.
True, actually.
I'm gonna start purring up in this bitch, bro.
Yeah.
So I think that like your brain is just so like, this is how humans like in real life works, and it's like, this is a fantasy world where like this love that he has for her is like so just like elevated from anything that like we've ever known or felt. And it's just so like passionate, and like he knows that she is spiteful and holds these like traumas and like god damn it, this like sadness from her childhood.
Sure.
And so he is picking up some of that burden and that weight and like expressing it. He's not mistreating them, but he is expressing that I feel this way because I know that it hurt you, and I think it's totally fine. Like, this dude is so in love with her.
It's not the worst, but I appreciate that Feyre acknowledges that, like, listen, all these things that you're viewing as like horrible tragedies to me, they like shaped me who I am. And like, if they didn't, we'd all be fucked. Like, so Feyre is expressing that she does not have regrets about that. So I just feel like this is almost like Tamlin overprotective territory of where he's getting mad at Nesta and Elain.
Except he's not trying to control any of it, dude. That's the difference.
It's
I mean,
just a weird getting mad on Feyre's behalf when she's not mad about it is weird.
Okay, you fucking dumbed something down earlier. Let me do it back to you.
Okay, yes, hit me. I love it.
If my father decided to like try and have a conversation and I was like being accepting about it, and Amanda was like, hey, like this makes me upset because I know how like your history with your father has not been the best, and I know that it's hurt you in the past.
Sure.
And like I'm feeling a little upset about it, and like expresses that to me, I would not think twice about that.
Okay, fair.
Like it's just that level of like love, like, hey, I know that this is a space for you that is really hard for you, and like I am feeling a type of way because of it, and kind of like checking in with that.
I understand where you're coming from, but I that situation is so different because you and Amanda have been together for years. And Rhys and Feyre haven't
even fucked.
They haven't even fucked yet. And again, I appreciate that unlike Cassian, Rhys is having this conversation with Feyre privately.
Yes.
And is actually trying, to ostensibly build the bridges between the fairies and the humans. But just there's some of the way he said, it'd be a long while yet before I can look at your sisters without wanting to roar at them.
Yeah, that was super corny.
Let it go, brother. Like, listen, Feyre...
Also, he doesn't roar, he purrs.
He purrs,
so he'd probably just meow at them.
He'd probably just meow at them. Like, Nesta and Elain are not perfect, of course not, but they are trying. Let it go. Feyre has mostly let it go. She does say, part of me feels the same way, but she recognizes that was all necessary for her. So.
He's also trying. You are just...
Like I said,
determined.
Better
You're
than Cassian
so determined.
Calling it out at the lunch or the dinner. Like I said, at least he is doing this in private. Zachy boy. Okay, no, I think you had something before my thing.
Yeah. So he goes, oh yeah, I'm paying you a wage for all this.
Yeah,
This is very, very strange to me.
Well, I think did we talk about this last time?
We did talk about because he's talked about like I'll deduct it from your pay.
Yes. And we were like, is
some
he
shit like
her?
that. Yeah, so we find out now that yes, he is in fact paying her a wage.
Mm-hmm.
He says you have a bank account in Valaris already set up and a line of credit. So if you don't have enough money on you at the time and you want to buy something, you can have the bill sent to the house.
She got that ultra platinum card.
Dude, that black card.
No
dude.
limit. Yeah.
And she asks, well, how much are you paying me? It's funny. Hold on, actually, this was very funny. She's like, well, you don't have to do that, but how much are you paying me?
But how much, actually?
But how much are we talking here? What are we talking?
Give me them dollar bills.
And he says the same as the others. And she realizes, like, it's probably way too much money.
What's she going to use it on?
Yeah, I don't know. And then he's like, hey, when's your birthday?
Oh, boy. Who talked about this? Who called this shit that this would be important, Zachary? Who called this shit? It's me.
And she goes, oh, my birthday? Oh, it's on the winter solstice.
Mm-hmm. No biggie.
That's
longest night of the year.
In a magic world. Yeah. People born on a solstice, that's not
important.
Yeah, what is this, a prophecy or some dumb shit? You
True.
fucking... Yeah, and he realizes, hey, you didn't celebrate your birthday.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it's your birthday. It's my birthday today. She's like,
my
fuck
birthday
off.
today. It's true. She's like, I don't really give a shit.
Listeners, if you know that movie, put it in the comments.
True.
This is a fucking test. And
We
if you don't know it, we
talked about
revoke
it
your
on this
cool
podcast
card.
before.
Yeah, well, they won't know.
She said her mother tried to have her birthday on another day, but forgot to do it the next time. That's very weird and funny.
Can we please skate by these dumbass things that are like Like, what is why?
It's so bizarre. I know. I just feel the need to call it out because it's so weird.
Yeah, it's very bizarre.
Yeah, they both put their money on Nesta. Is the last thing I have in this chapter. If Nesta and Cassian fight and or fuck.
Well, they're gonna do both.
They
so.
both. Just matter of fact. Well,
maybe at the same
both.
time.
It's gonna happen. Probably more than likely.
And Nesta's gonna win both.
All right, that was all I had for chapter 24. You?
Yeah, that's everything.
Jesus
and chapter
Christ.
25 is a pretty quick one.
They're all quick one.
A quick one.
Oh, quick one.
Quick one. Say it again.
No, I'm done.
Say it.
Jack it again.
Feyre
Quick
wants Rhys to power train her, so I assumed this was your favorite chapter of the bunch. Don't react that way. Don't fucking
Dude,
react.
I am trying to power train Rhys so hard. Bro.
God.
Nay.
I hate you. I hate you.
Oh my god, power train.
That's what I call it.
Dude, he's gonna run a power train on me, bro.
Jesus Christ.
I will bite my pillow.
Oh shit.
All right, Feyre is being feisty.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, "Hey, you fucking showed me a blank map one time. Fix that."
This is the most angry flirting they have done in a while.
I actually liked this dynamic between them more than some of the other stuff.
I think I agree. This was pretty fun. They are like really snipping at each other, but it's all very much in service of these two
of power training.
power. Exactly.
Time flies when you're gooning. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, they're doing some power training for sure.
So he's like, okay, and pulls out the map and like shows her the map with the names of the cities. Lest you think I don't trust you, Feyre darling.
Mm-hmm.
And he calls her Feyre darling a couple more times in this batch of chapters, and I love it. It's so hot, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just hot, man.
Fine, fair enough.
Yeah.
He suggests she try shape-shifting, and she just glares at him. And is like, bitch, how dare you bring up shape-shifting, you motherfucker. You know who shape-shifting brings up. So yeah, fire, water, and air it is. Oh, and she also thinks about how she's like, I didn't want to think about shape-shifting would be the one power I'd never bother to pull apart and master, perhaps for the same reason I didn't particularly want to ask about one key piece of history, didn't want to know if Azriel and Cassian had helped when the Spring Court's ruling family had been killed. So this, I don't know if this has been talked about or I just haven't picked up on it. The fact that she is assuming that Azriel, Cassian, and possibly Rhys are the ones that killed Tamlin's family. That seems to be what she's implying here. That's what she thinks, maybe.
Well, hold on. Okay, so what do we know about... So Tamlin's parents were killed as part of the war.
I believe so, yes.
By supporters of... Because his family fought for Hybern.
Yes. His family were buddies with Amarantha.
And so I do we know that Azriel and Cassian had some, like, has that been said that they had something to do with Tamlin's family's death?
I don't remember anything about that. That's why I took particular note of this, because I was like, oh, this seems like
interesting
new information. Like it's not like she knows it for sure. It feels almost like she's just theorizing that something to that effect happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe we just totally missed something, or maybe we've forgotten, but this seemed to kind of come out of left field for me. So I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We get a little bit of info about how his pocket dimensions work. Cause she's like, you go away so I can
This is Obito explaining how his Sharingan
not a
dimension.
I understand. She's like, why don't you just
one of the
hide
cooler
in one of
fights.
those pocket realms for a bit? And he's like, it doesn't work like that. There's no air.
And
I gave
she's
him
like,
a look like he should definitely do it then.
yeah.
Like, that's good, Feyre. Yeah, they are mad at like angry flirting with each other right now. This whole chapter.
She does say, maybe this may have been before or after what you just said, but she says, maybe you should go. I can't concentrate when you're around. And go far. I can feel you from a room away. A suggestive curve shaped his lips. I rolled my eyes.
A suggestive curve. What the fuck does that mean?
When she says, I can feel you from a room away,
No, I
and
know.
he just like grins at her.
Yeah, it's just, you can't just say he grinned at her. A suggestive curve. You really have to.
It was a suggestive grin.
She went the extra mile on that one. She was
did,
cooking.
man. Her imagery is fantastic. And then he says, okay, fine, I'm going to go. Give a shout down the bond if you get anything accomplished before breakfast. And she's like, what? Like literally shout at the tattoo? And he goes, well, you can try rubbing it on certain parts of your body and I might come faster.
What does he mean by that?
Yeah, you will.
What does he mean by that?
Yeah, you will.
This fucking guy.
This
certain parts of your body. That's very good.
You mean like my elbow, right?
Yeah, definitely the elbow. No, what was it? The back of the knees.
The back of the knee. Dude,
he
where
loves
was that
it.
bit from?
It was this. He cups the back of her knees at one point.
Oh, right.
And dreamed about pegging. That was his whole bit.
Oh, that's right, dude.
Yeah.
It's a day sport.
It's a day sport. Then they pass notes back and forth in class. This is very cute.
This is cute.
Magical. This is some very hot Harry Potter ass bullshit, I feel like. They're just magicking a note back and forth with each other while Slughorn is like fucking lecturing. But unfortunately, Feyre is so horned up for Rhys that she doesn't notice the fucking Ator sneak up on her. She is horned up bad.
Dude.
And yeah,
she's about to try rubbing her hand and
she's rub the back of her knees. I did not expect the Ator to come back.
No, yeah, this is a nice surprise. Yeah, so hand covers her mouth. Stop or I snap your neck. I knew that voice.
That's spot on, Ator.
That's exactly what the Ator sounds like. So the Ator's like trying to question her or like capture her.
This was resolved so quickly.
I know,
Just
dude. That was my note, dude. Like nothing. And you know what's funny too is I was like, was he like waiting for some shit to happen or like, is it just like, he's just like watching out for her because of like the bond? Because yeah, like as soon as this happened, just poof, he was there.
Right.
Well,
so this seemed like it was going to be way more serious also than it was.
Yeah.
It was a little disappointing.
I was also a little disappointed with just the severity of it. Like, I think what happens is fine, but like let it breathe a little.
This was something that was set up with the first book. It's like, oh, they didn't catch the Ator though. It's like, that could be a big deal. And it's just like, no, they deal with him like instantly. Just no effort, no problem.
It's like, wait, Frieza's still alive? Right. And then he shows up and Trunks is like,
it's exactly like that. It's like, oh, actually, no problem.
Dude, it's so funny.
Yeah. Rhys instantly comes in, fucks the Ator up, no problem. And then he questions him. The Ator says, I was sent to get her. That was my order. I am not to question. The king wants her. Rhys says, why? Don't know. Yes, please keep doing your Ator voice.
Yes.
Where's the king currently? Hybern. Okay, yeah. Army?
Coming soon.
How large?
Endless. We have allies in all territories waiting.
Endless, he says. God damn.
And then Azriel shows up looking hot and is like, I am going to fuck you into oblivion, my guy.
Azriel's like, the torturer has arrived, baby.
That's what he calls his penis.
What the fuck does that mean? So this was all a ruse, by the way. Rhys planned this shit. I was curious who wanted to snatch you the first moment you were alone. So he's got several theories. He's like, oh, it could be this person, could be this person. Like, there's so many people that want to snatch you up, Feyre. Yeah, Feyre is so pissed by this.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so. But this interaction between them at the end of this chapter was so bizarre. Was that just me?
No. I actually liked this interaction quite a bit.
Well, you go ahead and talk about it. I guess it was more just towards the end, but this is
like the winnowing thing?
Yeah, like before that, where she's just kind of like angrily stumbling around. There was just the way it was described. It just seemed like Feyre was this mindless rage creature, just just like chasing him around this clearing. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna have to do better than that." It was just so bizarre.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, like, I understand what you're saying. I definitely read it as like she finally is letting like some of her like anger and especially like the shape-shifting thing like come out, and she's probably struggling. She's like, I think she's just like struggling to control it while he's also goading her.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I didn't really like see an issue with it.
I just don't think I like the way it was written. It just seemed bizarre. Like it didn't land for me with like,
interesting.
Yeah, Feyre like kind of finding her powers
very, like,
and her
manic
anger
to me. But I didn't take issue with it, but
it was odd. Anyway,
I did like the conversation. So
yes.
she realizes his words imply that he knew that someone would be hunting Feyre. She's upset. She feels used, rightfully so. Feyre says, "You used me as bait." Yes, and I do it again. You should have told me. Maybe next time.
Maybe next
time. There
time.
will be no next time.
This fucking guy. Maybe next time I'll tell you. Maybe.
Dude,
probably not, actually.
What a shit. Like, okay. No Rhys-lander on this podcast.
Yeah. Oh, here it comes.
But
here it comes.
For like, I get the feeling that the theme of this book is like personal choice. Like that's what I'm picking up. Like it's so, I mean, honestly, it's kind of heavy-handed in some areas, but I really like it. Like I do like that that's been a big theme between their relationship and him giving her agency. I've talked about this for like a bunch. For somebody who like, for a character that I have adored because of this, it was very off to me that he just put her in the situation without telling her. I did not like it.
That's what I'm saying. It seems...
I didn't like it. It was.
There's some part of me that's like, is this all an elaborate ruse from Rhys? Is at some point the rug going to get pulled out from underneath us?
I don't think
Rhys.
so. I think his apology next chapter I think was very genuine. He realized he fucked up. Like he stopped trying to joke about it. Like it I feel like his tone changes.
I think you're right.
But. And I appreciated that. Like this guy is like some mastermind who's super powerful, and also like having this like kind of, like very new like interaction where
romance
he's trying to like
thing.
encourage her and like encourage her to use her powers and be herself, and like he made a stupid decision, and like I can see how that would happen, but it just seems strange to me. I did not like that. Like this has been his defining feature to me,
right.
Is that he gives her choice.
No, true.
And lets her. And so I didn't like that this is what happened.
No, I agree with you. And I think this just made me think about like the other stuff what I was talking about last chapter with like little hypocritical of you, my guy, to be hating on her sisters for what they did to her, and then you turn right around and use her as bait this way. It's just like not a great look for Rhys in this moment. But yeah, she manages to fish. She does the minnowing.
She winnows.
Yeah, that's the one.
And he looks delighted. He looks surprised and then delighted.
Surprised and delighted. And then, Zach, I'll have you know, I have one sentence, one note for the next chapter. Chapter 27. This has got to be the most pointless chapter in the history of literature. It was literally less than a page and a half.
This should have just been part of the last chapter. It should have just
been part of the... Like, there's no reason to have a chapter break here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was.
So bizarre.
She lands on Rhys. Don't ever use me as bait again. I did like what she said here. She said, you said I could become... you said I could be a weapon. Teach me how to become one. Don't use me like a pawn. And if being one is part of my work for you, I'm done. And I like that. I feel the same way. I did not like this like ruse thing that he did. Yeah. So I like that Feyre stood up for herself.
It seems like a weird backstep in in their relationship at this point.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does.
It just seemed off.
Yeah,
but,
I mean,
like you said, I think Rhys can get caught up in his plans, his scheming. Yes. And I think that's what this is supposed to be like portraying to us, is that he made a mistake. He kind of got caught up in his scheming and his plan and kind of forgot to take Feyre's feelings into consideration in this moment.
Yeah. He wants her to show him how she winnowed.
Mm-hmm.
She says no.
Yeah, fuck you.
There's a little bit of dialogue here, but it basically ends with him saying, I'm sorry. Let's eat breakfast, then go home. And she says, Valaris isn't my home.
Ooh,
and there is some hurt that flashes in Rhys's eyes, and he takes her back to the manor.
He shouldn't have been a dick, bro.
Yeah, man.
That's kind of on you.
Yeah, that is wild. Pointless chapter. Not the happenings of the chapter being pointless. It's just it didn't need to be a chapter.
It didn't need to be a page and a half chapter. Yeah, very strange.
All right, chapter 28. Did you have anything else about?
Literally nothing. Most pointless chapter in the history of literature. That was my note.
My first note of chapter 28, Cassian gives Nesta a mocking bow, and Nesta gives him a vulgar gesture that she didn't realize she knew how to make.
I did love
what
that.
What gesture? Like, what is it, like some weird, like...
She does the Friends thing. Yeah,
I don't even like Friends,
a vulgar gesture I hadn't realized she knew how to make. Feyre, you underestimate Nesta here.
Dude.
Come on.
Well, it's like, did she not think that Nesta would make like a vulgar gesture? Or is it a gesture that is hard to make? So she's like, how'd you pull that off?
I don't think it's that. I think it's just she's shocked at Nesta's like expansive repertoire of vulgar gestures. Like, shit, Feyre, Nesta
it's
knows
like a behind
that
the back, under the leg, fucking giving him the bird.
If this was the slam dunk contest of vulgar gestures, Feyre would be like holding up a 50. She'd be like, damn, Nesta, absolutely. I didn't know you had that in you.
Fucking double spin.
That's so good.
Man.
Yes. She gives the reverse double backhand bird.
The old reach around bird.
The double deuce. That's very funny. And then this motherfucker. Cassian had merely laughed, his eyes snaking over Nesta's ice blue gown with a predatory intent that, given her hiss of rage, so she does hiss, he knew would set her spitting. This fucking creeper ass over here. This not okay, Zachary.
I mean...
You absolute fucker. This is
it's okay because he's hot.
Yeah. No, that's literally that meme of like the ugly in the workplace, like hello HR with the ugly guy and the handsome guy. It's like, oh, you're so sweet. It's literally that. You're the worst. I can't stand you. Fuck Cassian.
Well, hey man, that's Sarah J. Maas right there, bro. I'm just leaning into it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So they go back to Valaris. Was there anything else there?
No, that was everything. So when they get back, Rhysand is like, yo, we already got our shit figured out with the Ator. Like, it's done already.
Done and dusted. You've been reading a book and having a cup of tea, but we got this shit.
Yeah. And he says, we learned what we needed to. And then now he's back to giving her agency, and he's like, hey, I know I fucked up earlier.
Yeah, true.
Do you want to know what happened? I'm trying to include you, be respectful, and talk to you about it. Yeah.
Good job. Nice recovery, buddy.
Great job.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get to like go into his like mind hole thing.
Please don't call it that.
It's definitely his
front
mind
hole.
Yeah, his front hole.
Yeah.
So basically, Az takes the Ator to the City of Nightmares, or the Court of Nightmares. Yeah. And it took him less than an hour to break him. So
Azrael's badass, bro.
Azrael has the torture machine, if you know what I mean.
That's what he calls his dick, I hear.
Yeah, the torture machine. So we learned that a small enemy force has infiltrated the north.
Apparently, I think. Yeah, I don't know where exactly that is here.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Scott. I had some trouble taking notes.
I kind of had weird notes in here too.
Yeah, what did you have?
So the Ator tells them it's common knowledge that he took her from Tamlin. So everyone apparently knows that Feyre is with the Night Court fuckers, with Rhys.
Right.
Azrael has been monitoring the situation in the Spring Court. Tamlin had shut down his borders, sealed them so tightly that even flying overhead at night was impossible. So Azrael has no fucking clue, or none of them have any clue what's going on in the Spring Court, because Tam has shut that shit down hard. And then the Ator is like, hey, you could work with the King of Hybern, you know, like the king could help you. Consider sparing you if you worked with him. And he thinks about, he's doing his mind bullshit, going into his mind. He sees an image of the army that had been built, the twin to the one I'd fought against 5 centuries ago. Hybern shores full of ships ready for assault, of the king lounging on his throne in his crumbling castle. Why is castle crumbling? Makes it more...
Sounds cool.
Yeah, makes it sound cooler and more badass, I guess.
Yeah, my boy's sitting in Harrenhal.
No sign of Jurian sulking about or the cauldron, not a whisper of the book being on their minds. Everything the Ator had confessed was true, and it had normal value. So yeah, we learn a lot of things here. Basically that, like, the King of Hybern seems back to his full strength from the war 500 years ago. He's ready to fight and fuck and fucking fight.
Same.
But the Ator doesn't know shit. Let's see.
I'm glad that landed with you. Yeah, I'm.
So they just fuck up the Ator and dump it, basically.
Yeah, I know. Like, plot
is our favorite thing.
Is like, plot is not the crux of this series. But I can't help but like call this out. Like, I feel like this ramped fast.
It feels a little like, come out of nowhere, doesn't it?
Like he's back to his full strength.
Yeah, he's been working, man. He's got like,
I mean, look, like we very well may like hear of like what he's been doing in all this off time, and like, right, like since before we knew, like for the past 50 years or whatever, like.
Well, he's got the cauldron and he's been charging those batteries, bro. He found those feet. That feet makes all the difference in the world.
Oh my god, don't get me started. Anyway, so I'm interested in the journey that this book is going to take our characters on, but like,
yeah,
I don't until we meet the King of Hybern.
That's
and
my
like,
thing.
That's
That's what I was just about to say, is like, this is all like kind of just meaningless to me until we can put a face to the name, you know,
to the
like,
text.
We don't even have a fucking name. He's just KOH. He's just King of Hybern. Like, I don't know who this fucker is, why I should care about him, obviously, aside from the fact that he's gonna invade or whatever. But it's like, you need to spend up some time building up your villain here. And until that happens, this is kind of just like a looming threat, but it doesn't mean anything to me.
That's
you know
such
what I'm
a good
saying?
way to say it. Yes, that's what I was trying to communicate. Like this seems like a big deal, and it's
Right.
like here, like
Right.
he's ready,
He's
and
ready
we
to
know
go.
nothing about him.
Yeah, exactly.
And-
we need to go to Highburn, or they need to come here. We need more direct interaction, because it's just like I can't become invested enough without that, I guess. I don't know how exactly to phrase it. I hope you folks can understand what we're trying to express here.
Yeah, like I mean, I guess the only other way that it could work is like, because I doubt that we're gonna get the King of Highburn here for the war, at least in this. I don't know if there's gonna be a war in this book,
yeah,
but like
I kind of doubt so too.
Whatever climax we get, it'll probably be Jurian, right? Like Jurian's gonna
Could
be.
Well, they also talked about a couple chapters ago about infiltrating Highburn. So let's do that. Let's get to that so we can get some more.
Yeah, but you think Feyre's gonna go? Because like, aren't we only getting Feyre chapters?
I think she will. Yeah, because that was the whole part of the Weaver test, right?
The Weaver? Oh, yes.
The Weaver test? You were so confused there for a second. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
this plot
whatever.
is just like you said, the plot is not doing it for me, but that's fine because I don't generally care about plots as long as we keep getting good character moments. And this section was like fine as far as the character moments go, but
okay, so we also learned that Az is going to attempt to infiltrate the Mortal Queen's court to figure out where the book is.
Mm-hmm.
And then some shit happens, and then Feyre has some inner dialogue, and she notices that she's feeling better, and more confident and more herself, and she takes this as an opportunity to be like, I'm gonna flirt. Like, I'm gonna throw it back at Cassian. And she goes, you told me that the city was better seen at night. Are you all talk, or will you ever bother to show me? And he's like, fuck, all right. Like, damn. I mean, I would probably be the same too. Dinner tonight. Let's find out if you, Feyre darling, are all talk, or if you'll allow a lord of night to take you out on the town.
You skipped a couple things I do feel like we need to talk about.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, this is like, that's the only shit I cared about. So,
well, this is like Feyre and Tamlin stuff, and I feel like this is important. She asks Rhys about what situation.
Shit. I did skip a whole section of my notes.
Okay.
That's my bad. No, you're right.
What situation with the Spring Court? And he says, none as of right now, but you know how far Tamlin can be driven to protect what he thinks is his. And Feyre thinks the image of paint sliding down the ruined study wall flashed in my mind. What is this referring to? What have I forgotten? The image of paint sliding down the ruined study wall. Is this when he like exploded with power and she shielded herself? Is that what this is referring to?
To be honest, I don't know.
I couldn't remember. Again, this is also where I realized I'm like, this is the worst way to read this book ever. Yeah. I can't even remember shit that happened like 10 chapters ago.
If only we had like notes.
If only there was something that talked about this book for hours on end. Rhys tells her I should have sent more that day. Which I think it has to be referring to when he got super pissed and like exploded with power and she shielded herself. Because it wasn't right away that Morgan came and got her. I think it was later then, right?
Yes.
And this is when he kind of apologizes. I think you alluded to this earlier.
Yes.
Feyre, he said, I am sorry about deceiving you earlier. And she realizes this letting me into his mind was a peace offering. And she tells him, I need to write a letter. This letter is very interesting. She is like kind of concerned about what's going on in the Spring Court. So she's sending this letter to Tamlin. She says, I left of my own free will. I am cared for and safe. I'm grateful for all that you did for me, all that you gave. Please don't come looking for me. I'm not coming back. I feel like this is very good for Feyre. This is like
yes.
a step towards closure. She needed to do this.
I think I'm more looking forward to the resolution of this than
yes,
the cauldron and
yes,
whatever.
Like
the fuck.
this is an exaggeration. I don't 100% mean this, but I view Tamlin way more as the big bad currently in this story than fucking.
I mean, honestly,
old King
though,
of Highburn, old KOH.
Well, and it's because we're able to be invested in him.
Yes, exactly.
Because
we actually we know.
Yeah.
him.
No. Yes.
Yeah. Tamlin is the actual villain I'm interested, quote unquote villain I'm interested in, and they keep trying to like. Oh,
what if Tamlin is the
out.
King of Highburn?
Ooh. What? Oh, you better watch out. Old KOH is lurking. He's looming. He's there. It's like I don't really.
You know what? Okay, hold on. You know what I just thought of?
What?
Maybe like this is kind of a. This is this is fuck you. This is kind of a White Walker situation.
Oh,
it's the threat that's looming.
Sure.
Maybe we're not supposed to know much about him yet, and like little by little things will start popping up and be revealed. So
fair enough.
Maybe we just need to be a little patient.
I think if anything, we're being very patient, maybe too patient.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. What the fuck you're
all right,
saying.
what happens next, Scott?
Yeah, like you said earlier, they're like, hey, dinner date. But then it turns out it's not a dinner date. His whole court is coming with them. He was like, oh, you wanted a dinner date between the two of us? No, all my buddies are coming, which I'm happy for.
Dude.
I don't know if this is what Feyre wanted, but I'm happy that at least Morgan is coming.
Not what Feyre wanted. I was so upset for her in this moment.
Like, did she seem upset though? I didn't quite get that vibe from her. I couldn't tell.
No, but like, dude, she's like, hey, you gonna take me out on the town? And he's like, yeah, let me call the
It
boys.
seems
Come
weird.
on, dude.
It seems weird for Rhys to make this call. It's like, oh yeah, I'm sure I'll get the boys. Yeah, we'll go drinking. It's like, Feyre, I do feel bad for her a little bit because this was not the plan that she pitched, you know?
Yeah.
We get a little lore about the Handmaidens, Nuala and Caradwyn. Saradwyn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Caradwyn.
Amren comes in and they immediately just vanish into puffs of smoke. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Amren, by the way, we mentioned this earlier, but it bears repeating. Amren's so cool. I fucking love Amren.
Amren is so cool, dude. Yes.
Amren says skittish things. Wraiths always are. And Feyre's like, wraiths? Amren is truly the goat for this line. First Feyre says, I thought they were high fae. Amren says, half. Wraiths are nothing but shadow and mist, able to walk through walls, stone, you name it. I don't even want to know how those two were conceived. High fae will stick their cocks anywhere.
Yeah, man.
God damn it, Amren, you fucking rule. Just putting all high fae on blast just immediately. That's great. And then this is where me and you, I gotta say, Zach, we're the goats. We called this 100% spot on. Could not have been more right. Feyre hands her the jewel thing. And she's like, thank you for letting me take this. And Amren's like, oh shit, you gave it back. And Feyre's like, oh, I didn't realize it was like a test. And Amren's like, you know what? You keep it, actually. There's no magic in it. I'm like, yes, Amren. Fucking yes. You're the goat.
Yep.
I found it at the bottom of my jewelry box. You needed something to believe you could get out of the prison again. And Feyre's like, but Rhys kept looking at it. And Amber's like, probably because he gave it to me 200 years ago. He was probably surprised to see it again and wondered why I'd given it to you. Likely worried why I might have given it to you. And Feyre is super pissed, but Amren was already breezing through the door with a cheerful, "You're welcome."
Dude, I love her. She's so cool, man.
So cool. I'm getting a very, like, you know, if they do like movies or a show of this, I'm viewing her as like, I don't know if she actually looks older, but I could totally see like a, oh shoot, her name just escaped me. Fucking hell. I have to look this up now. You talk about something.
Okay. So one thing that we did skip is, you know, she's talking about Caradwyn and Nuala, excuse me. And says that they work for Azriel. And they're kind of like little spies for Azriel. And they are keeping tabs on Amren, and they report her doings.
Helen Mirren. I need like a Helen Mirren playing Amren.
Oh, now I need to look up.
Or even like a Meryl Streep. Like that type. That's just how I view them. Or view Amren.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, I view her as like a terrifyingly powerful young girl.
Okay, sure. I can see this as well. She gives such like an older energy though. Like she needs.
Well, yeah, she's ancient, but I think she would be played by a young girl.
I don't know how that would work. You need someone with like a Meryl Streep or
yeah, there's not many people who like are like old in this story.
Helen Mirren. Yeah, you need that kind of just like very confident, in control energy. I feel like. I think Helen Mirren is the choice. Helen Mirren also is just great.
Yeah, she is
in everything.
Awesome.
I mean, so is Meryl Streep. Either one of them, I would accept.
Interesting,
but that's the vibe I
feel like
get from
that's a
Amren.
pretty like left field take, but I'm not mad at it.
It might be. That's just like I could totally see one of them like having this conversation with Feyre. It's just like, oh, that old thing. Yeah, it doesn't have anything. No magic. Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
So good. Yeah, sorry.
So Azriel's been. You're good. So Azriel's been keeping tabs on Amren. He reports her doings. Even though Rhysand has ordered him not to.
Yeah.
To stop doing that. And Amren does say that Azriel's like been keeping tabs on her, and she's like, I can't blame him.
She's like, yeah, no, he's doing his job.
Yeah, she's like, I can't blame him for like wanting to keep tabs on me. And then she goes to say, I'd be disappointed if Rhysand's spy master didn't keep tabs on me. The Court of Dreams is founded on 3 things: to defend, to honor, and to cherish. Azriel is only disobeying to defend his people. There are rules, but they are flexible.
Yeah.
And she says this in response to Feyre asking, well, is he going to get in trouble? Does Rhysand get pissed off at him for disobeying the order to like not spy on you? And she says like, I mean, he's doing it because he cares about his lands, his people.
Yes.
Which is interesting because it's like, why doesn't Azriel trust Amren? I want to know.
I think it's just the matter of she is this primordial super being, and therefore like there's just you always run. It's not necessarily that she's done something to earn distrust, but it's just like with someone that powerful, you always have to be, and possibly unpredictable. You just have to be on your shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Amren is basically saying like, yeah, no, he's doing a good job keeping tabs on me. Like that's wise, more or less. I'd keep tabs on me too. Mostly just because of how rad I am.
Not trusting me was the smartest thing you've done since you climbed down from your horse.
Exactly. Amren knows what's up, and so does Azriel.
Interesting. Anyway, that is the end of this batch, the end of this chapter, the end of this batch. Yeah, I mean, a solid like mid-book batch. Like there's some character interactions, meeting of characters, which I think is great. Definitely some love and sexy time foundations being laid down.
I hate you.
But between Nesta and Cassian.
Nope, I refuse.
Oh, it's happening, dude. It's so happening. Yeah, and I mean, and we've got a little bit of movement in the plot. Just unfortunately, the Ator stuff. The Ator stuff was like
little
not as big of a deal.
Yeah,
bit underwhelming.
Yeah, you're right. It's just kind of like a mid section, like you said. Like there wasn't anything like super crazy, but there wasn't anything like necessarily like bad either. It was just kind of.
Yeah, when I look closely at some of the character moments, there's a lot I could pick out that I really liked here, but like as a whole,
they're just kind of meh.
If we didn't have to stop reading for the like for our podcast, like I would have wanted to keep reading because I feel like we need more. Like we need to get more.
I agree.
So, yeah, not bad. Let's do the thing.
Let's do the thing. It's time for Who Be Courtin'. So last week, Morgan, even in her very small role, had taken the number 1 spot. Feyre at 2, Amren at 3, Rhys at 4, and Azriel at. Did I spell Azriel right? I think so.
No, he did not.
At 5. Is it E-A-L?
I thought it was. I don't know. I'm listening to the audiobook, so I actually legitimately don't know.
I feel like. That looks strange.
No, you got it. Azrael.
No,
wait,
it's Azriel. Yep, I definitely did misspell that. My bad, Azriel. You're my boy. Wow, how embarrassing. Okay. Well, I'm gonna delete him because I think he needs to be higher than 5th this section.
Oh, I agree actually. I don't know if you're gonna. I mean, I hope you like my number 1 pick. But,
I know who my number 1 pick is. I don't. Okay, well, you tell me first.
My number 1 pick is Elain.
That's not a bad pick. That's not a bad pick at all, and I'm not mad about it. And maybe it's because of the recency thing.
I really liked Elain.
But the way this thing ended, I was like, it has to be Amren. Amren's the fucking goat. She's so cool.
I don't know. I mean, she is cool, but for her to be the best character this batch, no shot, dude.
This
Come
last
on.
chapter, she was just so. I mean, you're probably right.
No, dude, Elain was so good, man.
Was great.
She was so good,
like,
and she's
none
in
of that
chapters.
Shit would have gotten off the ground if not for her.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's I mean, I feel pretty strongly.
I'll shake to Elain. Let me make that a little bit bigger for old Elain. Okay. Man, this order might be a little difficult. I feel strongly about Amren. I feel strongly about Nesta. And I feel strongly about Azriel. I feel like those 4 have to be on the list.
I think Azriel was so good.
I think
Azriel's like a 3 or 4 for me, I think.
I could even see him at as high as 2nd. He did a lot. He like broke the Ator. He was like the piece helping Elain make peace at the dinner. He's keeping tabs on Amren. I could see an Amren or an Azriel next. I just love, I love Amren, and mostly because just how funny she is and how cool she was in this moment. But realistically, Azriel probably did more.
Yeah, I think I'd go Azriel. I'm okay with an Amren at 3rd.
Okay.
Can he spell it right?
I did, I think. I hope. And then an Amren at 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make a case for Cassian here in a minute.
You better not.
No, I am. I fucking am, dude.
Okay, well, I know my other one that I feel very strongly about is Nesta. Where do you land on who get these final 2 spots? I'm Nesta, and then I'm up in the air, so I could be convinced. But I don't feel like Feyre or Rhys had a particularly strong section.
No, I mean, really, the only thing I really liked about like that I want to give Feyre for like her flowers for is her winnowing for the first time. Like she did accomplish some stuff.
I would say even more than that is her writing the letter,
and that's right.
So I think,
and her standing up to Rhysand about like being used as a pawn. I really did like that. I think
these last two are Feyre and Nesta in some order. I think your boy Rhys and Cassian are out.
Yeah,
in the
no,
cold,
I was
brother.
not giving Feyre enough credit. I think I go Feyre first and then Nesta.
I can shake to that.
If I'm being honest.
I can shake to that. I think you're probably right. As much as I adore Nesta, I do think we probably should give Feyre a little more credit. She did a decent amount.
I do like Cassian a lot, but no, I think...
Fuck Cassian.
Yeah, you're a cunt, dude. Cassian's fun.
This has got to be a first since he was introduced, right? Rhys not making the list.
Yeah, Rhys kind of pissed me off here. Like, I still think Rhys is hot as fuck, and like he says things that like that really work for me. But I did not.
No, I didn't like him at all in this section.
Well, it was specifically the pawn thing. I did not love that.
Like, listen, I feel like I have less of a problem with that than you do. Like, a character can make mistakes, and he apologized for it. Like, it just seems a little weirdly out of place.
Combined with like the goading her,
right.
And like I just did. It was icky to me.
Like, I have more problems with the way he. Obviously, we talked about this, but being angry at Feyre's sisters on her behalf, I found weird and not great. But anyway, yeah, I don't think he had a great section at all. So there you go.
Yeah, I think this is a solid list.
List too.
Dude, Elain crushed, man.
Elain absolutely crushed. Elain is a hilarious goat, and Azriel was just kind of all over these chapters, kind of doing everything. So good for him. And Feyre, like we said, I think we probably should have given her more credit. Okay. That is Who Be Courtin'. 5th place was Nesta. 4th place was Feyre. 3rd place was Amren. 2nd place was Azriel. And 1st place was Elain. She is getting some much needed development, and I love her for it. She was fantastic.
Hell yeah.
And I think that's going to do it for us, Zach.
That's going to do it for us here at Myth Keepers.
Exactly.
We thank you guys for hanging out in our asshole. And we'll see you guys next time. I didn't do any plugs. All the plugs are on the screen. We'll see you guys next time. Get the fuck out of here.
Bye-bye.